Wee, 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 wee. That's the alarm sound. I don't have the real one. Leslie has that one. But spoilers and whatnot for Endgame. If you're concerned about that type of thing, go back like 2 episodes and listen to that one. Oh, we have a Captain Marvel one that you can listen to. That's a good one. Sorry, I had to burp. That did not make a good siren sound. Anyway, Kim is here. And I want to ask him. Oh, by the way, I'm also not Leslie. Wow, I'm all over the place today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Geeky Girl Guide. Wait, we're Geeky Girls Night In. I am Miss Kim. Help. It's late. I don't know what to do. I'm not Leslie. There's an alarm for having spoilers. Today, I'm having the wonderful Kim Knight on the show because what we are talking about today is something that's been bothering me for about 2 weeks. And that is what happens after Endgame from a comics perspective. Ooh, yay. No, really, I'm like super excited. And Kim Knight is our resident like comic genius, and just her knowledge and all of the theories and everything is something that I very much enjoy. So if you guys want to watch me freak out tonight, definitely keep giving this a listen. If you haven't seen Endgame yet and you don't want to be spoiled, we understand. We're not going to shame you. Some of us have kids. Some of us have jobs, So, just save this one for later. But if you want to see the craziness that's about to go down right now, as you can tell by the beginning of this episode, it's going to be a little crazy. So just hang in there. All right, Kim.
Hi. Do you have like specific things, or you just want me to just start shooting out some stuff?
So I have a couple specific things. I know I have things that I want to know. Some of which, like, I'm really interested to see if there's anything that you can pull from a comics perspective as to what Black Panther 2 would look like. But I know the original Black Panther comics are kind of racist as hell. So I don't know if there's anything that you can pull from that to think maybe what might happen. So I'm kind of interested in that. If not, is there... You know what? You just go. Just blow my mind. Go ahead.
So I'm thinking, because, there's this marriage where, especially where you have your classic characters, they want to kind of do some homages to some of their classic stories, but there's been a lot of transition and development and inclusion and modernization over the years that's brought on some fantastic stories. So as far as specific for Black Panther 2, because, one of his other big baddies was, tragically, spoiler, not really tragically killed. We were all pretty thankful at least that he went out, but was Claw. He's always been a big one.
Mm-hmm.
They made one of his big villains a good guy. Not hating on that. That would be M'Baku.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Killmonger. They could switch it up, some of the modern stuff. So as far as the Wakanda world right now, which I personally would love, I don't know if they would go that deep without having at least the Black Panther 2, but they could set it up, is there's a lot of focus on the Dora Milaje. So they have their own book. There's a couple of characters that are featured in that sense. So, and then you have Shuri. Maybe it's Shuri that takes over.
Yeah.
A big story arc right there. He is king, and traditionally in the comics, usually the monarch does not also hold the moniker of Black Panther, because the moniker of Black Panther is considered the protector of the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
King. So they could be transitioning Black Panther to Shuri, because at one point that was her. Now here in later versions of the comic, they kind of became one and the same, because there was a point where Shuri became queen of Wakanda. They had a falling out. Her and he did some stuff. Not gonna lie.
See, that's what I thought was going to happen with Endgame, is they were going to show Shuri being queen. But then, you know, they copped out of that storyline, was like, we're already clocking at like almost 4 hours. We got to take that part out.
Right.
Shuri's just snapped.
They just threw a poster at us and we were like, wait a minute.
Like, wait, I thought she was fine.
There's a couple places they can go. And I don't know. I imagine if they're going to do anything, they may not take some of their major villains. They probably take some of the smaller villains and make them a little more, because they probably have a lot more freedom to develop them, especially since they've changed so much in the film, and because they don't really have a lot of pure content they can share from Black Panther. So they might just get creative, and honestly, I don't think anybody would care.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler is like doing a really good job with the material and like just completely changing it up. I love that. So, I mean, if they don't bring him on, I don't know. I don't know what it would look like. I'm sure somebody can make it look good, but he did a great job. Back to villains though. So overall, coming up for MCU Phase 4, what do you think as far as like I said, from the comics perspective, like what will our villains look like? What are your predictions? So
we should probably talk about this in two stages.
Whoops.
So we got the Thanos villain, which they built across a whole seasoning arc. I kind of see them doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have everybody's individualized villains, right?
Yeah.
So Spider-Man is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be interesting, and based on what we're seeing is potentially, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, everybody wants to see Green Goblin, because we didn't even get that with Andrew Garfield, and I mean, that is his biggest, Norman Osborn is his biggest enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably got the most, I don't want to say iconic because that's an inappropriate word, but the most well-known,
notable,
villains that people probably, even if they've never read a comic book or not, they know who his villains are.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of set up a lot of stuff that they can go through. It's kind of interesting how we're seeing a potential Mysterio acting on the side of good, though I don't think that's fully what's going to happen, but you do see that portrayed in the trailers right now. So, which, I mean, he is a big villain, but when he stacks up against some of the bigger other villains, that's, I don't know if they chose him just because no one's done him before.
I mean, yeah.
Versus just to be different, because, you know, Vulture, no one ever done that. I'd never ever did him before either, so that was kind of cool to see, because that was his, like, first big villain. So, how that plays in, though, I think a lot of this stuff, like Endgame, spoiler, so how the people that got brought back for 5 years
Mm-hmm.
is going to have huge impact, right? But we still have things that are broken in the world. Just because they brought them back doesn't mean the stuff that was there isn't.
In fact, that thing that I sent you, just 5 minutes before we started recording, that was just like a screenshot from, there's this Reddit user that went to there's like a Q&A with the Russo brothers. They had apparently this group of people had just watched Endgame. So they asked them questions about it. And one of the things that got brought up was that Thanos only reduced the stones to an atomic level. The stones are still present in the universe.
This is true.
So do you think along those lines that another villain, or is there another villain that could potentially reuse that?
I don't think villain. I think they're going to be, since it's a movie aspect, they're going to probably play into some of their other big overarching kind of storylines that are big deals in the comic world. When you see individuals using it, you might see a villain here or there using something of the stone. I have predictions for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but it's not necessarily a villain. And I could be wrong, but the person they teased at the end of Volume 2 in the Cocoon, shockingly, he was not in the any of the Infinity series because he's pretty prominent when it comes to Thanos and the Infinity Stones. He's a big deal. And he is usually considered like the owner of the Soul Stone. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how that's going to play out. That would be like at least the one place where I'd be okay seeing the Infinity Stones come back. But I don't think they're all going to come back.
It's just like some of them. Yeah.
It's too much power just to easily keep bringing back into your storyline. You know, you gotta move to something else to shake things up a bit.
I'm just like, I want to like talk about it, and it's so much because it's like, how is Disney gonna do this? Because Disney definitely wants to make money, and that's like what they do. And I was actually kind of surprised that. Actually, I'm not surprised because that's the comic way, right? Like, not all villains have to have this big redemption arc. Like,
no,
there is that good parallel of good versus evil. Whereas Disney is known for like.
But that's an excellent point, though. In the comics, that's different because you've got how many comics a year coming out.
Right. Yeah.
You can do that. If you're putting something in film, you don't want to do that. It doesn't make for a good story.
Yeah. And I mean, on one end, I could see Disney trying to bring a villain that, well, I mean, I guess they did that with Black Panther, like Killmonger. I mean, and they did it well with Killmonger, giving him a redemption arc that wasn't cheesy.
No.
But honestly, it's because you give it to black people save everything, personally. It's just like that part in Endgame where Black Panther and Okoye and Shuri are coming out and they're like, you're Bombay. And I'm like, we save everybody. Every single time. But there's so much. There's so much. I don't even have words.
I still think you got to think about the big picture before you can talk about the little picture.
Okay.
It's going to drive wherever Phase 4 is going to go. So what is the big picture? Well, and I don't even want to say Phase 4 because it took 3 phases to create this big picture.
True, yeah. So, Phase 1 of Phase 4.
Right? So potential story arcs, because then we also have the Fox deal, which just opens a whole new insane genre. One of the let me name off a couple of big story arcs that could be potential. One of them that's really would not shock me and is hella realistic considering the Skrulls showed up in Captain Marvel is Secret Invasion, and we kind of discussed that in the Captain Marvel podcast as well. But the only weird thing is that, spoiler if you haven't seen Captain Marvel, but come on, it's already been like how many months?
No, spoiler ban's lifted.
Right. So the Skrulls were actually, kind of nice.
Right.
That's great. But traditionally in the comic world, we were always dealing with, like I said, that really crazy religious faction that believed, yes, after all their planets and their homes have been taken over, because they are kind of a nomadic alien group, they had Skrulls, and it says that Earth is supposed to be their planet. So that's ultimately why they come here. It's because they want to take our planet. Because they feel like they are divine to have it. So that could be a huge one.
Yeah. I'm
really glad that no one ended up being a Skrull at the end of Endgame. That was pretty happy.
I was
like, we didn't know.
I'm still, just because the way Fury came out, I don't know. I was just like, where were you during the battle? I know he doesn't fight. I know it. I know we talked about it. But then, he was just on the porch and he's just like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. But, foreshadowing and crazy writer in the audience watching. And I'm just like, but are you? Because he didn't go stand by Robin Sparkles. But I mean, I guess that was for dramatic effect. Duh, they have to show him last. Still, he could be a Skrull.
Yeah, but you would have expected him to have some kind of role. Like showing up with a helicarrier like he did.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron, I mean, they would have got shot the hell out of that sky, but
yeah, right.
Would have tried.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you Team Skrull too?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's still weird how they handled that. I think we're going to have to find out some stuff in Spider-Man because we know he has a huge role in that.
Yeah.
So I think once we find out, I think I'll have a better understanding of where they might go with him or what's going on with him when we see that. Plus, I don't know if you saw this, but like Zendaya put out this Instagram picture after she watched Endgame. Did you hear about this?
No.
She made a cryptic note saying, she was in tears, upset over, which we all were after watching Endgame, but she was like, it's so much worse now that I know what's happening in Spider-Man Far From Home. And I'm like, that's hella cryptic. Like, you can't just put that shit out there.
Zendaya, why? What was that Disney show that Zendaya was on? Oh, it was like dancing.
Was it Shake It Up?
Yes!
I know that. My nephew used to watch that once upon a time.
I used to watch that once upon a time. Gosh. Shake it up. Why would you do that? Why would you shake things up?
Exactly. It is kind of effective. But
oh God. Well, now I gotta see. That's gonna be hard because, I mean, poor me. I get to go to press screenings, but seriously, the only downside is that people know the movies. Not everybody's a nerd, but I'm the only one who does the outburst. I am freaking out, and so I feel like this is again going to be a moment where I'm sitting through another MCU movie and having an outburst and just being like, Zendaya, why?
So your press screenings are legit just press?
Yeah, it's legit just press.
Horrible. Because I used to do a couple of press. Once upon a time, I got to see the Marvel movies before that stopped. I think Civil War was the last one I got to see like that. But it's we would have a couple of rows for press, and everybody else was they got tickets from the radio station.
Yeah, they have some
had fans and stuff in there.
Yeah, I've been to some like that where it's mixed, and this last one, it was still very good. Don't get me wrong, and in a way, it was kind of, I mean, there's a nicety to it, and I think I talked about this in the last podcast. I had my Avengers dress from Torrid on, so I definitely looked like a fan. I also had purple tights. Wow, I can't talk today, guys, because it's a sleepover. I'm tired. But yeah, I had these bright purple tights because I was trying to be like Thanos, and they're just so... What? I was like, hi, I'm Quinzel. I write for Geeky Girls Guide to Life. I also have a podcast, Geeky Girls Night In.
That right there should sell your brand. I don't understand why they're...
Yeah. It should. I also even met with I think I talked about that too. I was shaking hands with the executive director of the local news station. And he was just do not talk during this movie. And I was like, so does it look like I'm going to act a fool? Because I absolutely am. You're right. You're right. You can't stop me. But I've
been profiled.
Right. I did keep quiet till the Bombay part. Then I just lost it. I was like, you know what? No, I have to. But yeah, it's hard because it's not the same level of hypeness, I guess.
Well, audience participation, the clapping, the crying, supported around your family. Yeah. I get it.
It's easier to take notes. I mean, that much is better. If I need to kind of pause and take notes. And definitely for any other movie, it's perfect. It's just MCU movies. It's
You have the feels. You have the feels for it.
They're why are you crying? Be a professional.
I need to be with my people on this. I need my people for this.
Right. No. So I should have just, did myself justice, and maybe I'll just see it a second time, maybe after Detective Pikachu or something like that, I'll see it again. But I don't know. And then luckily nobody had questions. Nobody, every once in a while, it hasn't been any MCU movies, but sometimes there's movies where other people are okay, so help me because you look like because I'm I mean, you're right. I'm wearing the clothes. Come on. Let me take you down this rabbit hole. Let me get Kim on the phone. Next time I'll get you on the phone.
I will take you down that. But I guess to go back, I think Secret Invasion is definitely up there on the list. One of the storylines that they because Secret Invasion has actually been done, I want to say, twice, if not more, in the Marvel history. So it's one of those stories. They eventually bring it back. It's kind of one of their, I don't even want to call it classic, but they've done it a couple of times. Same with the next one I'm going to talk about. It's called Secret Wars. This one's a little harder to describe because they completely did a 180 in the last version of the Secret Wars, which I want to say happened maybe like 3 years ago. Can't remember when Civil War 2 happened during the release of Civil War 1.
Right.
And I think Secret Wars happened before that. So we could see a Secret War, which originally that storyline was a whole bunch of random heroes got plucked from across the universe and thrown into like a game in a sense.
Okay.
And they all had to sometimes fight each other and some random villains too. And it was basically two guys that were like, we have a bet who's gonna win, here's my people versus you. And we're talking like two guys in a god celestial kind of power level concept.
So like Big Hero 6 but with people?
Kind of, yeah.
The opening bot scene.
Yeah.
Do you think also America Chavez? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
America? Do you think, is that her name, America?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
No, you're on it.
Well, duh, Captain America. Okay. Listen, I'm tired. But do you think that is going to make a comeback? And if so, why can I only call her America Chavez? What is her real name? America Ferrera. I think it has to be her, right? If they bring her back, I mean,
well, it depends because she's young. That's the brilliance of that. That would be something I would like to see is more young.
Yeah.
Especially with Spider-Man being so young.
Yeah.
He needs a crowd. He does. And now you have Cassie, who's kind of old enough to be a superhero, and technically she is one in the comics, so that's an open door. Cassie Lang.
Explain.
Blow your mind. Yes. So she becomes, in the comics, stature. So she basically, with Pym particles, I mean, obviously she gets bigger and she gets smaller too. So same concept. Let's see. I would like to see more young. And I know there's been rumors that the next Captain Marvel will try to usher in Ms. Marvel, which would be great.
Okay.
I'm so for that. Because that's that youth side. But then you have basically like the Young Avengers. You have a couple of people that are hanging in there. But I mean, I would like to see that, the youth. I would also like to see some more female superheroes coming in so we can have a team up. I mean, they kind of said during that scene in Endgame where they all came together, it was kind of a nod to the A-Force, and I'm like, yes, no.
Wait, was that you talk about that part where they were all around Peter Parker at the end?
Yes, where they all showed it, like, where they said she's not alone, and all the females showed up and banded together. But I kind of want to see more variety with that. So A-Force is probably the most recent kind of comic book that was geared to a all-female team. And they haven't really had a whole lot. They had one back in the day called Lady Liberators, and which was all a big ruse. Honest. Well, the person that got them together was a villain of Thor's named the Enchantress, which I'm really shocked she's not shown up yet. Because I figured she would at least be a peon. Because usually she either assists Loki or somebody, but she's usually pretty prominent. But she's a thug in a sense, but she's got a little more wit about her,
right?
But she basically disguised herself as Valkyrie and got all the female Avengers together to, like, you know, fight the patriarchy. And then it got a little crazy and they just taken out all the men. I mean, depending on how you look at it, but
oh wow, that's kind of cool. Actually, do you think Valkyrie will have more of a role now?
I'm hoping so, especially with how they ended Endgame. She's technically been given the throne.
Well, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Duh. And the last rumor I just heard is that Tessa Thompson was basically said that a Thor 4 script has been pitched. That doesn't mean it's been taken, and it's supposed to be by the same director too.
Is she allowed to say that?
When you say pitch, that means nothing's real. So
okay, I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like when Tom Holland was throwing around stuff, and I'm like, how are you still alive? How is
all that means? Not is they're trying, but nothing is set in stone. But that also means you can't really have a Thor 4 without a Thor either. So
true.
And the only reason I point that out is because his contract was kind of supposed to be up too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the only one of that group that hasn't really made a comment about himself ending with Marvel.
Well, yeah. Well, because he's in... Okay, so he's in the next Guardians movie, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. Kim. And I've not seen him tap for that. And honestly, yes, they're using James Gunn's script now and is before and even now that he's back on, but all we know is that it's going to be about Adam Warlock. Like, that's it. I'm sure some of those details were kind of kept under wraps, but I don't think we know enough yet to assume. It wouldn't surprise me if he's there as a cameo at the very least, but I don't know if he's going to be fully there.
Kim, do you work for Disney?
No, I'd like to.
Do you have? Because I think you should. I think you have the expertise, and I think you have the knowledge, and I think you've proven that on more than one occasion that you could just really just be this like walking encyclopedia of like you're dropping us little hints here and there.
Right.
And Walt
it would
Disney's
be awesome to write comics. I don't know. There's a lot of things. I could be the person that's the keeper of the rules and the storylines, because they have that. They actually have that with the MCU.
Is that like a continuity person, but for words? That's awesome. Not like, you were holding that cup here. No, you said this, so you have to do this.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. What do we do? Hashtag at Walt Disney.
Right. I'm not going to say no.
Go ahead and talk to Kim Knight.
There's more Disney knowledge I have outside of MCU. Like, I'm pretty just all around Disney kind of person, so I could be useful in several ways. But anyway, I see. So, do we need a?
No, we're good. I got it. We got to pull back for a second because we got to be a little hypercritical of Disney because we got to.
I know.
Do you think, in your opinion, do you think that Disney can... how do I even want to say it? So, okay, backing up to that scene that we were just talking about with all the women, like she's not alone. I felt like that was a really good, subtle kind of nod to women in Marvel and basically everything that we've been talking about having to do with representation without kind of overdoing it. Do you see them being able to maintain that same energy for phase 4 or part 1 phase 4 at least?
Oh yeah. There's so much untapped stuff they can get into. Even if they wiped, and that, please don't think I'm trying to kill anybody off, because I'm not, but I mean, from a perspective concept, if they wipe the slate clean and they didn't use anybody they've already used, they still got a whole plethora of stuff they can pull out.
Yeah.
Especially now with the Fox deal. That's like a huge door. And I know the first thing they're going to fix is Fantastic Four. First thing they're going to fix.
Yeah.
I've kind of wondered too, but now with Captain America, well, I don't know. With Fantastic Four, it would make sense why they would bring them in. But if they brought in the Fantastic Four, because while Mr. Fantastic is not known as much specifically for his superhero skills because of his actual power set, he's super intelligent. He's a crazy genius. And he's one of those that basically figures out stuff to get them where they need to go, or how to fix something, or how to create So you need those brains, which is also something that's interesting with, I'm going to tangent my own tangent, but
do it.
That's also something very interesting with T'Challa. Mm-hmm. In the comics, T'Challa is also known as a genius. Like, his sister trumps him, yes, but he is incredibly smart, and he's a massive scientist. So he actually can, you know, like, if a virus comes, he can figure that out, or he can get him in space. Like, he's known at that caliber of intelligence. Right. So he's considered one of the most prominent scientists in the whole world in the comics. And I don't really see that yet being portrayed on him. And I'm like, I hope somebody lets somebody know that man's smart. Like, 'cause he is. Like, like, they joke and he lets his sister do that stuff, but he can still do a lot on his own.
That's true. But she just keeps saving the day. Like, they bring in Vision. She's like, I got this. Like, I don't know why you didn't do it, T'Challa, but I'll just do it. It's fine. Put him on the table.
But especially with, you know, spoiler, Tony being gone.
What
are we going to be doing with Iron Man? So
what happened to Iron Man?
Right? So we still have War Machine, but I don't know if they're going to actually just take War Machine and turn him into Iron Man, because I think that just belittles War Machine and his character. But you could open the door to Ironheart from the comics, so that would be great.
Yeah.
So I would like, and that would be another use that you could put in there with Spider-Man.
So would Ironheart be? So would basically they have the same hierarchy as they did before, or would it be more kind of flipped? Like, Falcon would be like the top billing character, and then Ironheart, and then whoever else, kind of thing.
I think it wouldn't. Yeah, I think she would have to earn her spot just because just based on youth. And I'm not saying that because she's coming in to kind of replace that, because I don't want to say that either. But it opens the door to allow that change to happen. And considering she's very popular in the comics right now, and have you ever heard of Ironheart? Do you know any background with her?
I don't really know anything. No.
Oh, let me.
Yes, do.
I got it real quick Google, because I think for some reason my head's like, no, you don't know her last name. But her name, I believe, is Riri Williams.
Wait, I know what no, it's the black girl. Yes. Yes. How does she fit the hair into the helmet? Tell me.
I mean, she's got a way.
No, what I mean is, did she build an Iron Man helmet that has like satin lining and like?
Well, I don't know that deeply, but
because I want one.
I'm sure she's figured. Well, here's the thing about her. She's been clocked as being smarter than Tony Stark, which is hell, because she kind of built her own Iron Man suit based on theories of his technology without actually looking at any of his designs and stuff. So that caught Tony's attention pretty quickly, and not in a bad way, because he was kind of impressed. So he kind of took her under his wing for a while to teach her what he knew. So she's pretty smart.
Ooh, that would be a good segue for him to like come back in hologram form, which I feel like they're gonna do.
Maybe we kind of need a Jarvis again. That would be really sad though if we had Tony all the time like that. I don't know. That's really sad.
My heart.
Right? I don't know if we could handle that.
My iron heart.
And there's been jokes about, like, you know, because Thor was Jane Foster for a while in the comics, but I don't know. I was surprised to see Natalie Portman in the movie, because I thought that their parting was not amicable, so...
I can't, like, remember, like... Because I didn't do the rewatch like I should have. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to watch Infinity War 10 times and call it good. But yeah, I couldn't remember, like, I don't know what I was doing. What year did the first Thor come out? Do you remember?
Gosh, I think it was like 2011? I think it was 2011.
Okay, so...
That came out before Captain America.
Okay, yeah. So I had, like less of a of an excuse of
oh wow,
I was really young. No. Yeah. That's my take on that. Bleh.
Well, and I mean, honestly, Thor, while very pretty to watch, Thor 1 and Thor 2 are really, I mean, it's saying that they're bad is still meaning that they're actually really good movies. They're bad for Marvel standards. Like, they're forgettable for Marvel standards.
Yeah, like there's great parts. Like, I know the part where he throws the cup on the ground and he says another like that, but I can't tell you anything else that happens.
Right. And the second movie, oh man, who directed Wonder Woman? Because I think it was supposed to be her. She had signed on.
Lady. Yep, that's her name.
I want to say it's Patty. Is it Patty Jenkins? Is that it? Somebody can, anybody who's upset with what I just said, please write in and say who the director's supposed to be, because I apologize. But I believe it was supposed to be the same director, and Natalie Portman brought her into the project, and they ended up firing her.
Oh. Why?
But here's the challenge. So, because there's been numerous times where they've had to let directors go. And I kind of, this is my theory on that, because the MC universe is a difficult playground to come in as a director, especially if you're a director and you're used to doing what you want. You can't do that when you come into an MCU movie.
Really? Oh.
Because of continuity.
Well, I guess, yeah. Well, because I was going to be like, well, how did Ryan Coogler do it? But I guess.
Yeah, well, you can do it, but you have to follow certain rules because of continuity.
Yeah.
So if you want to be super artistic in a certain way that goes against continuity, you can't do it. You have to go in there, not necessarily not having control, but you have to stay within a very specific line of boundaries. And as a director, I can see that being very difficult if you're not used to that, and you have that's your art, something you want to express. So if you're not 100% of what's going on with the storyline because of that piece, this isn't the movie for you, because the way for all this to work, somebody had to write it all down. Like J.K. Rowling with the whole Harry Potter, they had to know where the Endgame was back when they started Iron Man.
Yep.
Iron Man 2. But I'm just saying,
and it's funny because I know I keep going back to Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, I love you. No, he's totally married. But like, I could just see him sitting in on those meetings and being like, okay. LA riots in the beginning. Wait, follow me. Killmonger. Like, his mind and the way that he made it all work within all those rules was just amazing.
And to be honest, that movie had the most creative freedom than any other movie, because nothing in that storyline really was dependent on moving the storyline forward. It was allowed to be its own.
Yeah, to be its standalone. That's true.
But now it's been established. And I mean, you could say that with the first Thor. You could say that. I can't say that with Captain Marvel, because there was a lot in her storyline that was very dependent on pushing Endgame forward. So, right. But you have some ability to do that. But like, when you're coming in to Thor 2, it's already been established. You've already had Avengers. Now you're in the middle of the Thanos story. There's an Endgame coming in, and you have a very specific role to play in that. So it happens. I mean, there was another director for Ant-Man originally too, and they ended up using the majority of his script, but I think, was it Adam McKay that came in and took over?
I know you're talking about directors, but I have a really funny story about Ant-Man.
Sure.
So when I went to go see the first one, so first of all, I already told you guys the story on the Endgame podcast, how I have actually met Paul Rudd before. And that was a lot of fun. And I fully went into Ant-Man being super excited because it's Paul Rudd, and ended up the guy, now I can't think of his name. I'm so embarrassed to admit this. Back in my single time, I used to have a fling with an older man, and that older man was Wasp's dad. Not the actor. I mean, like, he looked like, what is his name? Do you know his name?
Michael Douglas.
Yes. But just like exactly how he is in that movie. And I was just like, I had such a hard time watching the movie because I was just like, oh god, the choices that I've made in life, oh god. I just want to see Paul Rudd, oh god. So the first Ant-Man movie for me carries a lot of shame. The second one not so much, but yeah. So anyway, that was my funny story.
No, it's important though. I can see Ant-Man 2 having some issues for you.
I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Just like
Ant-Man and Wasp. I apologize. I correct myself.
Right.
The brain's not firing with names, but I know it's the same guy who did Shaun of the Dead, and
yeah,
he's in that group. So, but they had a falling out. So, and I don't know details, but again, I honestly think it has to do with that. And I use this as an example because it was a really pretty movie, but for me, especially a fan of the books, like, it really had nothing of the book in the film. But Harry Potter 3, while gorgeously artistic movie, forgot to pull some of the most important stuff out of the books into that film that were actually important, like, because that's kind of how he learned his parents and learned their past. But it became like, we're going to show the Whomping Willow I don't know how many times, and I'm like, this artistically, this is gorgeous, but it's nothing to do, like, this is not an art film, this is a blockbuster film. You don't do that. Like,
so how old were you when you first read Harry Potter?
Oh, I was definitely in college.
See, okay, same. Yeah. Well, not in college. Like, I was like today years old. So
no, it was delayed. I mean, I watched the first 2 movies and I was like, all right, well, maybe it's good. So, I mean, I was there for live for 5, 6, and 7, but I caught up. So I wasn't immediately on it because I was like, yeah, whatever, it's a kid stuff. But then I started reading, I was like, it's actually good. I mean, minus her crazy, retconning phase, whatever the hell she's going through right now, I will give her props for being very good at foreshadowing in character, and her characterization is ridiculous. So she did that. She did those books well. That last one, I mean, I could tell she rushed that, and she was on a rush. So I was like, we didn't need all that about Dumbledore. Like, we really didn't need to know all that. But
that
that was a hard section to get through. It was important, but I'm like, you could have said this in like 5 words. We would have been okay. Like, Kim,
now I have to bring you back. Damn it.
So wonderful. But anyway, another thing they could do, something that I would love to see is if I don't even know how they would do it, but I want to see it, meaning they'd have to establish the X-Men first to do it. And maybe somehow explain. I don't think it'll ever happen because in the MCU universe, Scarlet Witch is not the daughter of Magneto. Which, that was a big deal when that came out, because we were all like, wait, you're going to bring in Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, but they're not mutants, and their father not the mass villain Magneto? How the fuck are you going to pull that off? Like... Because, like, we all know who they are. Like, and then they tried to retcon it in the comics to go with it. It didn't work out. But anyway, she is the daughter of Magneto. And there's this great sort of story arc, which could play out as its own movie, and then it kind of gets reset. But it's one of those big story arcs where it brings everybody into the playground. And it's called House of M. It's a great story.
Where
with that, so it's just a one-off book set. Like, if you get the graphic novel, I highly recommend it.
On that note, what do you recommend that people read up on to get ready for Part 1, Phase 4?
I would say read, if you can, it's the volumization of Secret Invasion. It's hard to say about Guardians of the Galaxy. Captain Marvel, like I said this in the Captain Marvel podcast too, but like any of their stories is great.
Okay.
Because she really hasn't had, at least under the Captain Marvel moniker, she's not been, I want to say they have, I mean, there's a lot of books, but it's only really been in the last 4 or 5 years she's been Captain Marvel, so that's a pretty quick, if you got the time, especially if you buy Marvel Unlimited, which is a monthly subscription to all of their stuff.
Wait, okay. Phone? Yes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I highly recommend that.
I think you work for Disney.
No. But if you want to play catch up, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, because I want to, they usually have sales too. Check them out, because sometimes they'll give you like for $5 a month versus, I think it's like $10 solid though, which isn't terrible. And then you can cancel it at any time, but it gives you the whole volumization of everything. Anything you want, new stuff, old stuff, it's there.
So no need, like with a library, to like wait in line for it. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
And right now, I don't actually have a subscription because I just buy them, but I buy them through my phone. Most of my new comics are downloads. So
you don't have a subscription because it's in your head.
Yes.
Like you just know.
But yeah, Captain Marvel's good because there's a lot of things they could do. Because I really think they're going to expand the cosmic world in some way and have it impacting Earth more. I don't think they're going to keep that very separate anymore. I think there's going to be a lot more cohesion between the two. So you're not just going to have Guardians of the Galaxy out there. You're going to see some more stuff. And especially more aliens coming to Earth. Because let's face it, that's usually where the biggest and the baddest storylines come from. Or you have big bads like Dr. Doom. That could be an excellent setup for a Fantastic Four, but altogether everybody's on board trying to go after. He could be the next big bad.
I generally wish there was a camera right now because, like, I am like, this whole time I've realized I've just been sitting here and like my nails are all chewed down. Like I'm nervous, but I'm not. I'm just like excited, and I just like have my hand to my face, and I'm just going, yes.
And don't think of Dr. Doom from the movies, especially the last one. Like Dr. Doom is actually a legitimate bad guy. He's a legitimate badass. So
okay. I can deal with that.
And he deals with magic, he deals with science, he deals with everything. He has equal opportunity. So I could actually see him being kind of the overarching enemy, just like Thanos. And then slowly maybe they bring in the Fantastic Four later, like they're already established. But you do kind of a reverse, kind of like Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
They're already there, but you kind of fill in the blanks. Especially like Spider-Man, because they did the same thing with Spider-Man. We've already seen those movies.
Right.
We don't need that.
They did a good job. Okay. Final question. Final segment. Segue? No, it's not. It's a sleepover. Who's gonna date? Who's gonna do the do? Who do we want to do the do? Who completely hates each other? Who has that hate lust in part anyone?
Oh, you mean like
more? Like who do you think?
There's so much that they probably will still, have a good time.
Yeah, because I feel like that's like happens a lot. I mean, you can kind of really downplay it in like when kids are around. Like, have you ever noticed that in kid shows? There's always like the two people that hate each other, and then they just like go off by themselves for a while, and then the next time you see them, they're holding hands.
Right.
You're like, oh, okay, we know what happened there.
They worked their shit out.
They really worked it out. So, is Thanos and Deadpool gonna get married? Part 2.
Oh no! If he comes back, like if Thanos really were to come back with Deadpool around, like his whole goal in life is to try to kill Deadpool, but that's the fucked up part. He can't die. That's all.
Oh.
That's the whole problem.
So is just a whole movie of him.
I don't know. We joked about between us and a feed that because the Infinity Gauntlet storyline in the comics, the push for the Infinity Gauntlet storyline is completely different in the comics than it is here. It's more fleshed out and realistic in the movies, but ultimately, Deadpool and Thanos don't get along in the comics because Thanos has a unhealthy obsession and love for Death, who is a woman, and Death is in love with Deadpool. Which I don't know if Deadpool's in love with her or not. I think he just happy a woman likes him sometimes, but then he's happy everybody likes him, like because he goes all he's non. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's
as long as you're willing. Like
he's team. I'm living life right now.
Yes, because he's been handed a bad card, so when he can get it, he gets it. So,
gosh.
But but I don't know because we don't have the same players. I can't answer this question right now.
Did we have maybe that kind of set up in the comics with Natasha and Hawkeye and Hulk?
Oh no.
Okay.
Natasha in the comics, if anybody was close to dating Natasha, it was Captain America.
Which I had thought they might do that at some point, and they just never did. And I'm like, okay, I can respect that. Actually,
in the comics for Clint, so do you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all?
I am not caught up in the slightest.
You don't have to be caught up. Do you remember Mockingbird?
No, I don't think I got that far. I think I got like as far as the first episode.
You do need to.
Yeah.
You don't really have to, but
no, I have to.
They introduced a character on that show called Mockingbird, who actually is Hawkeye's wife in the comics, and they were married and all that stuff. But and maybe after a while they'll bring in some of the Netflix heroes. Maybe they'll take them out of that world and make them join the rest of it, because I can see that all coming in. But I think what we're gonna see is maybe some factions too of teams, and not so many solo movies. We will see solo movies too, but they're gonna bring in new blood that aren't like crazy blockbuster actors and start creating some of the tinier teams that live in the world. But obviously the big ones that at some point are going to be coming in is Fantastic Four and then X-Men. But I feel like X-Men will be at least a phase or two down the road before they even think about that.
So Captain Marvel and Valkyrie, yes?
I could see it, but we didn't really get to see them together.
That's true.
What I wanted to see, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I'd be down with it. I don't know if Disney would do it, and if they did, if they would do it right. Do you know what I mean? Like, remember back at Beauty and the Beast, there was that big deal, like, oh my god, this epic gay moment. And I'm like, wait, I saw Beauty and the Beast. What happened? What the hell did I miss? And it was just two men dancing together at the end, which was...
Well, I'm sorry, but I saw the animated series too. Why the hell is everybody surprised? I don't understand. Like,
oh, that they were two dancing together?
Regardless.
They loved each other.
Regardless, why was it such a shocker? I'm like, that was pretty obvious in the original. I'm just saying, I'm not upset. Like, I was there for that then. But...
well, and because I was, when they kept talking it up, I was like, what happened in the movie? What are they talking about? I don't remember. Did somebody have sex in this movie and I just didn't know? And they're like, oh, you mean they danced together? Well, yeah, girl.
To be honest, I don't know if they'll ever do a romantic interest for Carol, just because in the same frame that they had to clean up Black Panther, they have to clean up her love interests too. She's had some bad runs. Like, she has one of the worst storylines ever created, and it's not even it's an Avengers storyline, so it's not even just her single book, where she kind of was raped by a dude, like actually kidnapped, then raped by him, just to become impregnated by him so that he could be born in another dimension where her dimension. It's a whole mess. And then he basically made her fall in love with him again, and they all left together to be happy. And the Avengers were like, "This is so beautiful. It's totally cool. You have a baby."
Jesus, we can't.
Then everybody was like, "That was a terrible storyline." So then when they brought it back, the new writers literally let her go into the Avengers, like, fuck you guys, like, as she should have. But it was very problematic. And some of her other relationships, they've been deceptive, and I don't want her to be that gullible woman. I don't want that character to be placed on her.
Yeah.
The only like true relationship she's ever had in the comics, especially as of recent, is Rhodey, which I could see that it's possible, but they don't have that same dynamic like they have at least not yet, like they have in the comics. So
is Monica coming back?
I don't know.
I mean, because that was 19 whatever, she was 8 years old, so that would put her as grown up.
I was hoping we might see a peek at that, but I don't know. I would hope so. You can't just, because if you're gonna have a second movie, you're gonna have to address the fact that she has to go see Maria.
Yeah,
Maria's gonna be old, so in some way you're gonna have to address it. Now, is she gonna be a superhero or not? I don't know.
Yeah,
I would hope so. Maybe she could be New Blood, because Carol has led many teams, and I really do think that she will be. I think that was the whole New Blood speech, even though he was really upset. But I think that's why he pointed at her. Tony was saying, "You're New Blood, we need that." She's probably gonna take the helm and be the Captain America for the new team.
I mean, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Is it gonna be, because I think to end the show on a lovely note, maybe, what the lovely racists are so mad about is, a black man being, the head of the Avengers. And it's just, A, hilarious, and B, I don't think that they really read comics, right? Because Falcon was never, even though Captain America gave him the shield, Falcon doesn't become the true leader, does he? Am I wrong?
No, he does, yeah.
He does.
I understand. The Avengers shift. They change members. It's a very fluid concept. Like, some people want to take a break because they have a family, so they bring some new members in. They're constantly, and there's times where Captain America wasn't on the team, but he was kind of on the head and council of who's on the team.
Okay.
There's like, Carol's been the leader of the Avengers. Monica's been the leader of the Avengers. But yeah, no, he's been the leader. But I agree. I don't understand why everybody's upset, because like that's been established for a very long time.
Okay, because I was thinking of kind of like what you're talking about, when they just kind of trade off is the thing. Actually, even if he was leading it full time, I don't really care. I mean, I already got over his role in The Hate U Give, so I know that Falcon is a really good person. Have you seen The Hate U Give?
No, not yet.
No. Have you read it?
It's on my list. No, I have not read it, but it is on my list.
Okay, because he's the villain in that, and so that is the only reason why I kind of cringed. Like, oh God, don't, no, he's gonna burn him alive. No, he won't do that. He's man. Now that I think about it, when you do see The Hate U Give, let me know. For anybody else listening to this, there is a review up on the blog that you guys can read up on, but kind of seeing his range in that movie, now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of interested to see how he will be in Phase 4, because I'm always used to seeing him as the good guy, and then seeing him as the bad guy, he had a very good, not a spoiler for this movie, but he had a very good subtlety to him with it. Like, he didn't have to actively do anything to be the bad guy. He just really had, like, the presence down. So I'm kind of interested now.
and being a leader, he's going to have to be more assertive and holding his ground. And he didn't have to be that way.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of terrifying. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to separate that from that movie. So when you see it, we'll come back here and talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop talking about this.
Can we just call this like Marvel tangents? Like, because I feel like that's what it was all day. But
yeah, no, I mean, if you're fine with it, I'm fine with it. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
I don't want people to feel like oh, this actually has a plan to this discussion. No, it doesn't at all.
And we know, what do we talk about? Walt Disney coming over and yelling at you and then hiring you,
right?
Different. We didn't get to all the couples though.
No, and I don't
know.
The only reason I'm hesitant is just because it's such a final ending. Yeah. It'd be different if we were halfway through, or at least get through the first part of the phase. Okay. Let's get a couple movies in and have that conversation again. Okay.
No, it's a date. We're gonna do this because I just also want to know how they're gonna handle relationships in general. Just because, I mean, are they gonna do all straight relationships? Are they gonna try to do any queer relationships at all in Phase 4? Are they going to just knock out romance completely and just make it a superhero movie? I'm down for no romance.
I really think that they wouldn't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
I think they've been teasing the waters to see. Something you may have not noticed was that one of the Russo brothers was in that support group. And he was talking about going on a date with a man. It was really subtle, but I was like, that's actually kind of a big deal. Like, that's him supporting and,
Ooh.
And I don't know about his actual sexual preferences. Like, I don't know anything about that. And honestly, I don't care because it's his life.
Yeah.
But having that in the movie and having him backing it isn't enough power that I need. Yeah, I don't think they're going to drive away from it, though. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think they got enough money that they don't care. And again, people read these comic books. They're going to go watch the movie.
Yeah. Actually, Superman and Zendaya, that's probably one, right?
Superman? You mean Spider-Man?
Wow.
I was like, when did
God.
Bless her. She is tired. Please don't.
I messed up in front of the comic genius. I have sinned.
Please don't send angry tweets or mail. You can send them at me for some of the bullshit I said earlier, but
I'm so deprived. I almost said Tony Collins. Oh my God.
Yes. But I do think I really like her as Mary Jane, and the way she's portraying Mary Jane. That is so not Mary Jane in the comics, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm excited. So when does Far From Home come out again?
I think, June or July. I want to say it's June. I don't think it's going to wait till July.
Okay.
The only reason I know that is because I'm going to Comic-Con, and I was like, are they going to do a thing? And it's like, well, it's kind of going to come out before.
Oh, when you say Comic-Con, do you mean the Comic-Con?
Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. As in San Diego?
Yes, ma'am. First time.
California?
Yes, ma'am.
As in United States?
Yes, and the only reason I'm going is because Mecca scored us tickets, and I have to make her look smart. No,
Mecca!
But she's like, no, that's for real. Like, she's here as my personal Marvel and comic book encyclopedia and all nerd things. So.
Yes, no, you are incredible. Take this podcast episode with you and just download it on your phone and be like, here. If you see a recruiter from Disney, be like, let me in. Here is my resume. It's all on this recording. You totally
That would be pretty sweet, but if that's how I got it, like, we were so impressed by this. It was garbled. I don't have high expectations, but I'm gonna say yes. I'm not stupid, but
they're like, we see the magic.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't want to go to bed because I'm gonna think about all of these theories. But
we can always have a part 2 at some point in the future.
Yeah, we're gonna do a part 2. We definitely are. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're gonna go ahead and sign off here, talking about all kinds of shit, including not limited to part 1, phase 4 of MCU from a comics perspective. Again, this is Kim Knight. Kim, can anybody follow you? Are you like, do they sing into like a little cup to make you appear? Do you take donations? Do you take sacrifice? What do you do?
if you want to follow me, because I'm really bad at social media, I only do Facebook, and it's just because I work so much. Then just follow the Geeky Girls Night In and Geeky Girls Guide to Life, because I usually follow that enough that if somebody were trying to talk to me, I'd probably see it. So if you need me,
call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
Right? Ask a question.
Awesome. And as you guys know, you can also find us. What did you say?
At Geeky Girls Night In and Geeky Girls Guide to Life.
Yes, that stuff. Wow. Leslie should always be here.
She'll be like, what the hell do y'all do? But it's okay.
It's fine. Leslie, we love you. Quinzel and Kim out.
Bye.
Bye.